in the gunman's home filled with anti-police rhetoric.
We are on it live tonight with the witnesses who watched John Hurley take action. New insight into the investigation. We start tonight with Fox 31's Michael Konopasek. Michael.
Yeah, police here in Arvada, they say that they are still working on completing witness interviews, and they're also analyzing some forensic evidence. Meanwhile, as you just reported, we do know that an Arvada police officer is on administrative leave connected to this tragedy. Based on an eyewitness account, we know Good Samaritan Johnny Hurley was the one who shot and killed the suspect accused of killing Officer Beasley. But who shot the hero credited with saving lives? That remains unclear. We do know a critical incident response team of neighboring police agencies is investigating the actions of a responding police officer who discharged their weapon on Monday.
Once an officer fires his firearm, presumably he's fired it with the intent to cause serious bodily injury or death to whomever he's firing at. That should initiate a cert investigation.
Michael Daly is a retired Aurora police commander with 4 decades of law enforcement experience.
The purpose being to make the investigation as impartial as possible when they deliver those facts to the district attorney.
Arvada police say a responding officer opened fire on Monday, but we do not officially know if a police bullet actually hit anyone, and that's what authorities say they're working to determine. Daly says the discharge of a police gun requires a cert investigation, regardless of whether anyone was hit or if the officer who pulled the trigger survived the incident or not.
They turn that into the district attorney so that he or she can make an informed decision as to whether there was a criminal act by the police or whether they were lawful in what they did.
The process can also identify where potential police policy changes are needed. And Arvada police say they hope to have much more information on this case in the next few days, and they say they promise to provide that.
Shows that a good guy with a gun doesn't necessarily stop a bad guy with a gun.
Michael, thank you. Also, new at 9, we are learning more about the chaotic scene Monday afternoon from that eyewitness who saw Johnny Hurley, the Good Samaritan, run toward the gunfire. Fox 31's Greg Nieto joining us with that interview. Greg, what have you learned?
Yeah, Jeremy, you know, as
yeah, but what happened to the police saying drop the gun and stuff like that before they shoot somebody?
More and more of these signs. This one simply reading, "Thank you, Arvada PD." Tonight we're hearing from the community who's also thanking Johnny Hurley. Working at the Army-Navy surplus store across from the Arvada Old Town water fountain, Bill Troyanos witnessed a heartbreaking 15 minutes.
I heard the succession of more gunfire. Boom, 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 boom. Probably, I think I heard about 8 shots.
Monday afternoon, he watched the aftermath of the death of Officer Gordon Beasley and the heroics of one Johnny Hurley.
I know he told someone else to stay inside, he's coming back, but he didn't even think about it. He walked right out onto the sidewalk when he saw him, pulled his gun, and ran across the plaza towards him.
Mr. Troyanos watched as the scene zigzagged near the water fountain and finally back toward the library.
He unloaded his pistol on him. I heard maybe 6 shots. I did see the gunman go down.
The only reason Bill Troyanos is coming forward, he wants Johnny Hurley's family and you to know he watched the true meaning of what it takes to become a hero.
Everybody that knows him knows that he was so heroic. He didn't even think about putting himself at risk. He didn't pause. He immediately went out that door and ran across. And with that gunman coming back into the plaza, he probably saved lives.
That he did. Again, a live look here at this large new sign, simply reading, "Thank you, Arvada PD." You know, guys, while I was at the Old Town location, I happened to be standing there, and I ran into a cousin of Johnny Hurley, who simply tells me, "I don't know what to think at this point." Getting back to the gentleman at the Army-Navy surplus store, I simply asked him if he saw physically with his own eyes what happened to Mr. Hurley. He says he did not. Live in Arvada, Greg Nieto, Fox 31.
Greg, thank you. As we said, the circumstances surrounding Hurley's death still unclear, but friends say there was no doubt about what type of person he was.
Yeah, described as a man who put his all into every single thing that he did. Fox 31's Rachel Skida spoke with more of his friends this evening. And Rachel, he sounds like one heck of a guy. What are they saying?
Yeah, and it's clear from speaking with his friends that Johnny had a lot of friends from many different parts of his life, but everybody who I spoke with agrees it was no surprise that Johnny risked his own life to help save others.
So full of heart, so full of courage and love for his fellow man.
Cared so much that he was even willing to put his life on the line.
Remembered for his heroism, but friends say there were many other signs of Johnny Hurley.
He beatboxed, and I rap, so we clicked.
Brent Kaufman got to know Johnny through We Are Change Colorado, a community organization that often puts on events. That's Johnny on the drums and Brent on vocals.
He's somebody that when you saw him, you know, he would give me the biggest hug in the world, and you know, he wasn't afraid to say I love you.
An artist and a cook who loved the outdoors. Friends say Johnny was also an outspoken activist who believed in personal freedom for all.
He had qualms with the police, and yet he was still there to help make sure that the people were safe.
He prepared himself to learn how to use a weapon responsibly.
Kaufman says Johnny was an advocate for seeking the truth, something he hopes is revealed soon through this investigation.
Some people are cut from the cloth of just engaging immediately and addressing what needs to be addressed, and he's cut from that cloth.
A GoFundMe page was set up for Johnny's family. So far, it's raised more than $25,000. That's as of tonight. You can find a link for that over on our website. Rachel Skida, Fox 31.
In the moment when it would have been really easy to crash and hide, he ran in as an everyday citizen. He ran in to save others, and that is true hero status right there.
Yeah, making that decision to run toward gunfire, saving lives while losing your own. While it remains unclear exactly how Johnny Hurley died, we wanted to find out how you should act in a similar situation. God forbid it should ever happen. We'll have that story all new tonight at 10.
Interesting. All right, following Monday's shooting, the Salvation Army now providing support and meals as well to survivors. The Harbor Light Center Kitchen has prepared meals to be delivered to the Arvada Emergency Assistance Center, and that'll start today. It'll go until June 27th. And yet another showing of support tonight. Look at this. Zachariah Cartledge, just 12 years old. He loves running. He loves first responders. He combined those two passions just a few years ago. Decided to run 1 mile for each officer killed in the line of duty. And tonight, he's running for Officer Gordon Beasley. So touching, with a message here for the Beasley family.
We wanted his whole family to know that we're going to be with him, with his whole family through this hard time. If there's anything that they need ever with our nonprofit, we will always be there for them. And we just want them to have as much comfort as possible, knowing that there's people supporting them. It's the least we can do, knowing that they're going through a hard time that nobody should ever have to deal with.
President in 2040, what do you think? Zachariah has run more than 930 miles over the past 2 years. We'll have much more on Officer Beasley coming up tonight at 9:30.
Yeah, good kid, great mission, no doubt about that.